Can YouTube pay my rent and bills? That is the challenge that I have set myself, and I am going to be realistic. I am setting this challenge for at least a year. That is, unless something really drastic happens beforehand, but I'm going to try and set myself out a whole year to make this work. Now, the reason why that I'm going to do that is because I know that most people who fail with an endeavor or any sort of venture that they start is that they go at it hell for leather for the first week, 2 weeks, or even a month, and then they quit, and then that's where they fail. Now, with things like YouTube or online or social media, success comes mostly after you've trained the dragon. This is basically what I mean by training the algorithm. Now, when it comes to things like YouTube and Facebook, I am finding that, and I'm learning that the algorithm usually is trying to determine what it is that you're posting, who you're posting it to, and what the content is about. And so if you only post something for a couple of weeks or a month, YouTube is still not quite sure what it is that you're talking about and who to show it to. And so with that in mind, you can start something quite quickly and think you're going to do really well with it, and things aren't really going as quickly as you thought, so then you stop, and that is one of the problems. Now, so my intention is that I'm going to try and, or I'm going to say try, I'm going to record and release at least one video a week. Ideally I would like to do two, so whether that's going to be one long one and one short, or two long ones. I would also like to do some shorts from those. Now, there is software that we can use to split these kind of videos, so I'm going to be looking into that. As I say, this channel is all about my challenge, and it's all about learning YouTube. I am on a journey. I am not a guru. I'm only sharing with you what I've learned so far and what I've heard, and I will share with you what is working for me or not working for me, so that you can join me and come along. And so I'm not claiming to be any YouTube specialist, but like I say, what I'm learning is that if you create shorts as well, then you can find a lot more subscribers. The problem with shorts is that there isn't a congruence between those who watch your long form videos and those who watch your short form videos. They're often two different types of people. The people who like shorts want to be entertained quickly and move on to something else. So you might find people through that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to watch your long videos, and that can often cause a misalignment in the algorithm. So I'm seeing people saying that you should do shorts and some people saying you shouldn't. Now, again, some people are saying that you should do shorts if all your content is aligned and you're talking about the same subject, then do it. It's if there's any form of confusion, and that is one of the things about YouTube, is that the algorithm likes clarity, and if you're confusing the algorithm, you won't get the best results. But as I was saying, there is software that we can purchase or rent per month, and I'm going to look into that. I've got a couple of names, but that software will take your long form video, which I'm doing like here now, and I believe it will so you can see if I do my arms like that, it kind of breaks off the sides and then just zooms in on your face so that you can make sure. So this is one of the reasons why I've got my widescreen sort of camera on here, because obviously, as you know, when you're recording a video on your phone, you have that I can't think of the word, perspective, and then you've got that perspective. So you've got is it sort of 90, is it 16:9 and 9:16? Those are the perspectives. So I'm going to record my long form videos this way, and then hopefully the software will split it into shorts. So that is what I am going to sort of do: 2 videos potentially a week, at least one if I can't get the 2 done. So I'm going to try and record a fair few videos up front. So the first few videos that you'll find on the channel will be talking basically about how I was replaced by AI and my reason for sort of wanting to go all in on YouTube, why I think other people at the age of 50 or and above should go into starting a YouTube channel. So, and then as I sort of progress, as I learn more about YouTube, then the videos will start to evolve and talk more about what I've learned, what you should do, what other people should do, and all that kind of good stuff. So going back to the challenge, the idea is then I've got a YouTube channel which is about Portuguese property. This is one where I film myself looking through photos of estate agents' websites, and I talk about those properties, and I give people a bit of an idea of the location if I've been there, because I lived in Portugal for a couple of years in around the Luçar area, the Villanova de Poiage and the Luçar Mountains, not too far away from Coimbra, and it was a fantastic place. I really actually enjoyed it, really loved it. But I'm back in the UK now, and I was able to live in Portugal because of what I was doing, what I was working as a writer. So I was working for 2 companies at the time. I was earning sort of decent money, but AI popped along, has basically taken my clients away from me. Both those clients now are using AI for a lot of their written material. One company was a partial retirement. They were hitting a certain age. They wanted to slow down, and they were sort of streamlining the business, sort of making it a bit more skeleton-ish. I think they had a few issues and there was a few fears, and they were getting to that age where they thought they wanted to sort of slow down. So they restructured, they slowed down, but they are still producing products that they are selling to their email list, their mailing list, but they were using AI to create them. So they were completely bypassing writers. And if this publishing company that had made millions with the written word, creating products which are basically writing, and this other company that as well, this other client, sorry, there's a fly in front of me. So this other client who also has sort of got rid of my writing services and is now using Claude. If these two companies, which have made an absolute fortune, then if they're happy with what AI is churning out, then there's really no other chance for me, I would say, to find writing work. I would say that those days are long gone. There may be 1 or 2 companies who may have like an ethical, social stance where they want to put people first before profits, but generally business is about putting profits before people, which sometimes can be quite blinded, because I do believe with a lot of the things that's happening at the moment, there's a lot of people focusing on AI. Once AI has got rid of loads of people, once you see these companies coming along and saying that I've reduced my team from 5 down to 2 and chucked 3 people out, and there's someone else is saying, yeah, I used to have freelance writers, freelance copywriters, freelance graphic designers, now I just use Claude and ChatGPT, and they're celebrating it. The more people that they dump onto the unemployed pile means that those people aren't earning money, and if they aren't earning money, then they aren't going to be buying anything other than what's necessary. So if they haven't got any sort of a bank full of cash, if they haven't got any savings, if they're struggling and they need to put food on the table and a roof over their heads, they ain't going to be buying your products. So it doesn't matter whether you've used AI or not. Will that mass unemployment have an effect on the market, on the industry? And I believe it will. But that's beside the point. So the alternative is that I can't see me getting any other writing jobs as a writer for companies, because Claude and ChatGPT, they are learning language machines. So they are evolving or learning and getting better every day. The more people use it, the more it's used, the quicker and the better it will become. And so we are going to eventually lose a lot of jobs to AI, and I cannot see how I could carry on trying to find companies to write for. In my mind, in many ways, it is actually going to be probably a wasted time. So I was better to probably pivot into something else. So what I'm pivoting into now is going all in on YouTube. And so the whole idea of this is that I want to replace my, or at least one of the clients' work with AdSense revenue or advertising revenue from YouTube itself. So that will basically pay for my living cost. And then on top of that, I will be using YouTube to sell digital products or find clients and customers for other projects, and generate my funds from there, and my other, the money I spend on holidays and all that kind of stuff. But the goal of this, the challenge, can YouTube pay my rent and bills challenge, is so that YouTube will be effectively earning me my freedom income, my freedom money, my baseline income, the money that I need to pay for all my living costs. And so I'm giving myself at least a year. Like I say, things do evolve, things do change, because obviously I left the building industry, I left the construction, I was a carpenter, I worked in both machine shops and workshops, and I also worked on building sites and private homes, working, fitting doors, windows, making doors, windows, roofs, all kinds of stuff with wood on the building, in the building trade. I swapped all that for becoming a writer, for working as a content creator. Once I left that behind, became a writer and was writing for these clients and these companies, I truly believe that that would be all I would be doing until I hit my sort of retirement age. I believe that I would in many ways be right. I've done my own fiction. I write my own stuff as well, but I do have a partner who has chronic fatigue syndrome, so I'm kind of pulled back and forth in many ways. So I haven't been able to build up my own sort of business, and I haven't been able to sort of focus a lot on the fiction. I was writing for these companies, bringing the money in, but I've not built my own stuff, and so I wrongly assumed that I would probably, worst case scenario is I would still be writing up to my retirement days. I would still be writing for companies, but AI has basically just blown that away. It's just decimated the creative path. The creative industry, should I say. And so with that in mind, I need to pivot to something else. And so instead of trying to find other clients and customers, which for the short term could make sense, it could be a good idea to find a couple now, but I think for me, after putting so much effort into these other people's businesses and not focus on mine, and I've been sort of left with nothing, I need to focus on something now for myself. And so the way forward, I believe, is YouTube. I believe YouTube, and I was going to say an online offline hybrid business. Now, this is something I've been talking about for quite a while on Substack. An online offline hybrid business is a business where it's an offline subject. It's a subject that is enjoyed by lots of people and is not necessarily online. So it's not like how to make money using Facebook ads. That's an online business. So it's like darts, it's like pickleball, it's like cycling, it's like, I mean, I've seen a YouTube channel about tanks. It's about rating restaurants. It's all that offline stuff, cooking, even writing. I mean, people who write, yes, you write online and you write books and stuff, but writing is a subject that is real world. So it's not just offline, it's real world subjects and businesses. And so I believe that the future for most people, especially people who are starting now, is to build an online business around this offline subject and niche. Now, the Portuguese one, my YouTube channel about Portuguese, that is one of those online, offline, online hybrid businesses. The idea is I'm using YouTube to create these videos, which hopefully will get monetized eventually, but I'm hoping to build an email list around Portugal property. I have a newsletter around Portuguese property. It's renovation projects in Portugal. Build an email list and then hopefully turn that into a business as well. I've got plans for that. So that's one YouTube channel I'm working on. That's part of it. That's also going to be one of my experimental YouTube channels, which I can talk about in these videos. This series of videos on my channel here is going to be talking about those, and it's not necessarily offline, online hybrid business because I'm talking about YouTube and my journey on YouTube. So it is and it isn't. But I'm not trying to teach people how to make money online. I'm not trying to teach necessarily an online business. I'm just talking about my journey on YouTube and why people over the age of 50 should be starting a YouTube channel. I mean, to be fair, anybody over the age of 40, even 30. Now, remember, YouTube was started, I think it was 2004, so if you think of the teenagers who started watching videos in 2004, that, you know, if they were 20 then they're in the late 40s, 50s. So we have people have grown up with YouTube. YouTube is not just a place where the young go to watch cat videos or fail videos. It's a place that is being used. It's a broadcasting platform that people can publish anything and everything. I mean, just before I started recording this video, I was having a quick cup of tea. I've got my tea here. So in fact, let me have a quick slurp. I need to wet the whistle and keep the throat lubricated. So I was watching a video on YouTube, and it was the Jason King drama from 1971 to 1972. It was a British sort of drama series, and Austin Powers, the films were based on Jason King, and there was a series before that with a different name where Jason King was part of it. He was an author spy sort of thing. It's actually quite ridiculous. It is funny. And so that's from the 70s. I'm watching that, and I've also been watching just recently the Greatest American Hero, which is from the late 70s, early 80s. An American who was gifted a suit by aliens and got these like Superman powers, and he uses it to fight crime, but he's kind of reluctant and he's a teacher by day. It's quite funny. And these videos are getting uploaded to YouTube like sort of a memory of past TV. So YouTube is a broadcasting platform that is being used by anyone and everyone to broadcast about anything and everything. It is a broadcasting platform. It is not just something for the young. It is something that anybody can use, and it's also a platform that will take any topic. So as long as you are within their terms and conditions, you're not actually doing anything that's sort of hate speech. You're not trying to cause unnecessary division. You're not using necessarily unnecessary graphic violence and pornography or anything like that. You can basically publish anything and everything as long as, you know, it is acceptable. And with YouTube as well, now you tick a box to say if it's for children or not, so that children are protected. But I mean, incidentally, children's toys was a huge thing. There was a woman, she actually was an adult star. She did a few porn films, but then changed and became, I think she was called Disney Princess. I think there was her and a boyfriend. He did a male version, and she did a channel called Disney Princess. I don't know if it's still about, but she was racking up millions and millions of views. This was back in 2014, and what she was doing was buying toys, children's toys, and getting the camera. So you're looking at me, but you imagine the camera was here, my eyes looking that way. You could see her hands opening these toys and talking about these toys and playing with them. And she became a partner in the YouTube partner program, which meant that when adverts were shown, she would earn money. These adverts were aimed at children, and children would sit and watch those TV, those videos that she was making, watching her unbox the Hello, you know, my Little Pony toy or Barbie or whatever it was she was playing with. They would sit and watch these over and over again and move on to the next video, and then probably watch the same one again. It was like it was like a child being in bed, being read a bedtime story. They were just engrossed in these videos, and then the videos were showing adverts that were targeted by toy companies and anything like children. And so this woman, princess, the Disney princess, was making an absolute fortune. I mean, she's probably had to change her name because I imagine Disney might have stepped in, but she was making an absolute fortune from these videos because they were just being viewed by thousands upon millions of children. And so she was generating several $1 million a year, I think it was, in just Google AdSense revenue off those videos in a partner program. So with that in mind, this is why I'm trying to set up this YouTube channel, this YouTube business. Now, there's going to be several sort of parts to this. So there's going to be I want to get into the partner program, and that's with 1, 2, possibly 3 channels. I'm not going to just necessarily do one. If this channel does really well, that'd be great. So I'm targeting people around my age, 40 to 50 to 60 to 70, especially people in the 50s, especially people who are, their future has been changed by AI, people who want to leave their jobs and have an online business. I want to focus on that. And so if I can get this channel, if I can get into the partner program and also the Portuguese one, if I can earn money from these 2 platforms through Google AdSense revenue that is shown on those adverts, if I can earn enough per month, so my target is to earn $2,500, which is £2,000. So if I can have £2,000 per month just off YouTube advertising, have YouTube paying me, that is my baseline income that I want to make from those. So that is what the Can YouTube Pay My Rent and Bills challenge is all about, is to get these channels up, get them monetized so that they can earn money to pay those bills. And as I mentioned before, YouTube, there are people who can do that. Now, I know, like most things with advertising revenue, with videos, there's so many factors to take into consideration. It's all right saying that, yes, if you have 10 videos and each video has 100 views, but that's not necessarily how it goes, because I know full well I've got a Portuguese video, or a video on my Portuguese channel, which has been seen about 450 times, and then I've got videos on there that have been seen less than 100 times. And I know that there are people who have got video channels where, you know, one video has been seen like 200,000 times, but another one has probably only been seen like a few hundred times. So with there being so many people on YouTube, you've got to take into consideration sort of human behavior as well. Some people will look at your headline and it will speak to them. They'll go, oh yes, so like 10,000 people might read that headline and go, that looks great. I watch the video, but then the next video that pops up, the headline might not be as catchy, and the people might go, I'm not really, that doesn't really interest me, so they might not watch it. And so the headline or the subject matter can really explode a video. And again, you could have 1 or 2 videos per year that do really, really well, and you could have like 100 that do not do really well. And so, you know, your income is going to be up and down each month. I understand that, I get that. But as people say, the more videos you've got out there, then there's a greater chance of one or two of those being really enjoyed, going viral. You know, lots of people sort of sharing that video or watching that video. But also the fact is, you've got loads of other videos. So, for example, it would be great if, we'll use the example of authors. In the old days, people would like to write a book. They wanted to write a book. They wanted it to be a bestseller and go out there, make loads of money off that one book. Now, it would be great if you could record a video on YouTube, pop it on there, and it go viral, and you make a lot of money. But in reality, what makes lots of money for most people in the modern world is that when you have a portfolio of stuff. I mean, just recently I was listening to Madonna. It was in a shop in town, and the radio was playing in the background. Madonna was on. I think it was Lucky Star, one of those really early ones. Today, while I was in the car listening to Madonna on the radio, it was La Isla Bonita. So that was two different records being played. So she's earning money from those two songs. She has this huge back catalogue. I mean, it helped that she was a popular star in the first place. People liked her. So she had this back catalogue of music that people can listen to, and radio stations would play, so she would get paid by them. And it's the same with authors. I remember a guy called Mike Shreve. He was talking about writing and publishing books to Amazon Kindle. And his method was, instead, if you want to earn $12,000 a year, don't write one book hoping to make $12,000 off that one book. Write a book hoping to make $1,000 and write 12 of them. And what he was saying was that even if one book goes really, really well, people who read that might go, oh, I'd like to read more. So then they'll go to the next book, the next book. So even the poor books that do really terribly well will still be found and can still trickle in money. Each book is a digital asset. And so with each video that is published to YouTube, that too is also a digital asset. So even if you have a handful of videos that do really poorly, people still may watch them, maybe not in the same numbers as other videos, but some people may watch them, and you could still have $1 or $2 earned off those videos. So you could probably earn a couple $100 off a couple hundred videos, which if you hadn't published them, you wouldn't have earned the money in the first place. So, but there's so many factors to take into consideration with this. But with YouTube, now the reason why I wanted to do YouTube, or should I say videos, because the idea is that I can record these videos, and now I could publish this video to Facebook as well as YouTube, and I could publish it to Substack and other places. And if they do really well on YouTube, I can also earn money from there. But with video, it is effectively and essentially free to create. So I'm actually recording this now in my office at home. It's a Sunday. I've got my webcam on. I've got my laptop on. I'm stood here talking to you. I say stood, I'm actually sat. So I'm sat here talking to the camera. I've bought the equipment. I already have the equipment. I'm already paying for broadband. But once I record this video, it'll get uploaded to YouTube. It'll cost me nothing to publish that in front of people. You know, YouTube will hopefully then put it in front of the right people. The right people will watch it. They may watch some of my other videos, but it's cost me absolutely nothing to do. And, you know, yes, you can buy the software. So I use ScreenPal at the moment to record the videos. So it's looking at me and the screens. I use ScreenPal, which I've been using ScreenPal for probably over 10 years. So I think I've got a special deal. I think it cost me like $50 a year. It's quite simple. It's got a bit better over the years. I might get another. I've been looking at other video editing softwares. I've used CapCut as well on other projects, and I was paying $80 for that a year. I'm down on the free version on that, and I'm using Canva at the moment, which is $100. That's for graphics and videos as well. But you can, yeah, you'll need to purchase some form of software, but there is some that you can use for free. Like I say, CapCut, there's a free version of CapCut for editing, and I think Loom is free. You can record videos on Loom. So there is ways of doing it for free, but technically the actual publishing the video to YouTube and publishing to Facebook is free. So especially if you like use your phone here. So for example, there are people who are doing really, really well on Facebook, on social media and YouTube, and all they do is basically take their phone. They have a little microphone that they can attach to the lapel, and they walk through the woods. They can walk the dogs, and they can walk and point and talk to themselves on the phone. They can stick it like that, stick it in a tripod or whatever, a camera holder, turn a light on, and just talk and record it to the phone. Maybe do a bit of editing. If you do these type of videos, you don't necessarily need a lot of editing. I'm trying to do these where I'm just sort of sat looking at the camera and talk. There will be images and graphics, and I'll do some screen flows in other videos. but you can do all this for free and publish it to Facebook and to YouTube, and it costs you absolutely nothing. And those videos will then be put in the sort of the public domain in front of people, and these videos can be seen lots and lots of times. And so in many ways you can become a media company broadcasting information, ideas or stories, whatever it is that you want to share, and you can get that in front of tens of thousands of people for nothing. And I want you to think about this. Now, I don't know how old you are, but if you're watching this and you're in your 40s, in your 50s or your 60s, you'll remember the times when we used to, back in the 1980s, you watch TV and you'd see commercials and information adverts on, between TV shows. You'd see adverts in newsletters, in magazines and papers. If you had a business or you wanted to sell something, you had to pay a small fortune to either a media company to record a video or a jingle or a radio ad or a TV ad. You'd have to pay a small fortune to newsletters and magazines and media companies to put that advert in those big papers so that they could be seen by people. You'd go to the cinema. In the UK, it's be Pearl and Dean. You'd have your adverts and people would pay for local adverts. And that was to get your information out in front of people. You always had to pay. It was very rare that you get free advertising unless you pulled a stunt and you was able to get into the newspaper by doing something. Or I know some people used to do sort of charitable works and they get their names out there, but everything was paid. And I know the equivalent is using, in many ways, was Facebook ads and online ads, Google ads kind of replaced a lot of newspaper ads. The newspaper, people stopped advertising newspapers when the internet was created. But with social media, with YouTube, with Facebook, with Instagram, with TikTok, people are now able to reach thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, even millions of people by creating short, free videos, either at home or doing stuff and, getting those videos out in front of people. I mean, I just recently, another project that I'm working on as well, which hopefully might also become a side business or a way to sort of pay the rent and go towards paying the rent and the bills with video, is that I, as a carpenter, as I mentioned, I make stuff out of pallet wood to sell. And I create videos of what I'm doing and a bit of funky music, a few photos, a bit of live action video. And I've been publishing them to Instagram and Facebook. And those videos are getting seen 200-300 times each. And if I just keep churning them out, again, eventually Facebook may decide that they want to put me on the partner program because I'm getting people. And some of these videos have been seen thousands of times. So video is incredibly powerful and it is ridiculously cheap to create. If you're not creating it for free, it is pennies on the pound or cents on the dollar. It is ridiculously cheap, really, compared to how it was, say, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, when you had to pay a small fortune to get your adverts on network TV or at the cinema or in papers or on the radio. You can do it all yourself now. You pick your phone up, you pick your webcam up, and you speak like I'm doing now. You create this video and you put it out there for people to see. And people of any age can do this. And you can talk about any subject under the sun. There are people in their 60s, 70s and 80s who are still doing fashion icons. In fact, that just reminds me, here's a fantastic story for you. There was a couple in Korea. I think it's South Korea, or maybe North Korea. In South Korea, they have a laundrette and lots of people would use the laundrette. But a lot of people would also forget to pick the clothes up. In fact, it was happening so often, they got fed up of being left with so many piles of uncollected, washed clothing that they would have to bin it. Their grandson came along and said, do you know what? Why don't we make an Instagram account out of this? So he would take photographs of his grandparents, the laundrette owners, wearing all this kind of clothing that was left behind. So there'd be granddad there with this sort of incredible trilby hat and then a smart jacket, and they would start modeling these clothing, just a bit of fun. They now have, I think it's over 100,000 followers around the world on Instagram. 100,000 followers. It's probably more. My good lady, she was showing me this account the other day, and it all started basically by the grandson saying, let's take photos. And what they were using was their phone. He had a smartphone, he had access to the internet and Instagram. They set up a new Instagram. It was free. Take the photos, bish bash bosh. Before you know it, they have followers from all around the world. They are now become known as fashion icons, and all they were doing was modeling clothing that was left behind at their laundrette. Absolutely incredible. That is free marketing. Now, I don't know if they've had people go to that laundrette, but they will do. There's a perfect example of this, and I'm going to have to create a video about this, and I will. And so please go and have a look at my channel for this. I'm going to do a video about Spudman, who went to Cleethorpes. Cleethorpes is a seaside town here in the UK, and he has now become such a big name on social media that people follow him, and then they go to where he goes. And he turned up one day at Cleethorpes with his potato van. Now it's a food truck, and so he makes hot potatoes, jacket potatoes, with fillings like cheese, beans and curry, I don't know, whatever they're having these jacket potatoes. And he sets up, and there were people queuing down the promenade before he'd even opened. There are places in Cleethorpes that you can buy jacket potatoes. There are places where you can buy chips and food, pizza, lots of food. But he came to Cleethorpes that one day, and because he was so popular on social media, people queue for him, and people were queuing for him before he was even ready to open. There was people piled down the promenade. That is the power of social media. Everywhere he goes, there's always a queue. The same happened not so long ago. I think it was Brighton or Clacton. I think it was Brighton. And people queue, and he will sell out. He will have a great day. He makes money, and it's all because he utilized social media, and he uses short videos, and videos like this, or basically videos he uses on his phone that he records for free and publishes to free platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. That is how powerful it is. And so that is what I want to move into, and that is what this challenge is about. Can YouTube pay my rent and bills challenge is, can I use video, especially YouTube, to create the baseline income that I need? So it's all to do with getting in the partner program. Can I earn the money from the videos, from YouTube itself, to basically pay all my living costs? Everything else after that will be a bonus. I am going to use YouTube for other things. Now, say I've got my Portuguese channel, which will hopefully, there'll be an image pop up here. We'll show you the name, Cheap Portugal Property. Look for it on YouTube. I'm doing those videos. I'm doing these videos. I may even do another channel about writing, or I'm going to do a video to show you of some of the things that I looked at. There are ways to make a lot of money on YouTube with different niches. Like I say, it doesn't have to be about trying to make money online. You don't have to teach people how to make money online. I have no necessarily interest in teaching people how to make money online. I'm not a guru. I'm not a big expert. I've been in the industry. I've made lots of money for the companies. I've been paid by other companies. I was a freelance writer. I can tell you all about how these systems work, you know, the lead magnets, the emails. I know about Facebook ads. I've done Facebook ads. I've done videos, content creation. I've done all that. But what I'm trying to do with this is document my YouTube journey. I'm going to talk about the offline, online hybrid business models, because I do believe that is the future. And that is, I believe, the thing that people are starting out should focus on. If anybody wants to start an online business, then you should be looking at an offline, online hybrid business. In fact, if you comment online, offline, hybrid business, or let's comment OOHB in the comments below, I shall send you a report about what they are. And YouTube is, in my mind, at the forefront of these kind of businesses. So you've got YouTube, you've got school, you can even have Patreon or even Substack, but these are going to be the platforms that people are going to use, in my mind, to create an online business in 2026 and going forward. Because ChatGPT, Claude AI, as you know, they've taken away my clients. People are using those for the written word, for graphics. So a lot of the creative services, the information publishing, a lot of that is now gone or going. It is dying because of AI. So if you want to start an online business, you are then really going to need to start looking at creating an online business around an offline, real world subject. And so in many ways, this is what this is. The challenge I've set for myself: can I get YouTube to pay my rent and bills, my living costs? That is a real world challenge. It is, yes, it is about online, and yes, YouTube is online, and it is a digital sort of industry or business, but it's me talking about something that I am doing. Okay, and it is a challenge that not only am I doing, but I think lots of other people can do as well. So with that in mind, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you're going to watch the rest of the videos. I'm going to update about this challenge regularly. Now, part of this is how I've got on, what I'm doing. I'm going to sort of do reports on how it's going, what I've learned, what I'm doing, what I've stopped doing, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully there's going to be this series of videos around this challenge, so that, and updates, so that people can see how it's going and they can follow along. So I want you to follow along as well. If you want to figure out how to pay your bills or your living costs using YouTube, using video, then hit the like and subscribe buttons. Please follow, watch my content, and let's help each other out. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye, and I shall speak to you soon. Cheers and goodbye.